Hello, my global Echelon family. Back from this trip, about to go on another. And one of the things that was interesting to me on this trip, wherever I was, airports or wherever, was that I heard a lot of talk, a lot of passionate talk about who are the good guys and who are the bad guys. And a lot of dissolution and desperateness and sadness about the, quote, inevitability of it, that this is what's going to happen and then that will happen and so forth and so on. And it really brought home to me how important it is to expand our consciousness, to look at this conversation. Who are the good guys? Who are the bad guys? From a completely different perspective, because that sort of terribly sense, it's so overwhelming to me, sense of helplessness when it comes to this conversation. That people throw up their hands and say, this is too much. What can I do? These guys have all the power, and it's this way and it's that way. And so I really want to bring forward today this, and the theme is finding the good guys. Because in my heart, I know that, and I learned this at the men's penitentiary in Bolivia, that behind every killer, behind every bad guy, deep inside is a pure soul. And deep inside is a place where we know right from wrong, where we know what is true and what is not. The thing is that we're so desperate in today's world to belong to something, and our anger is up because we can't ever compare with anything bigger than us. And so we go to the least level of energies, the lowest level of energies, and we sort of exist from there. Because when it comes to anger, when it comes to negativity, you can always find company. It's much more difficult at these rare, higher vibrations to feel as if you belong, because each of us holds inside us our sense of guilt or what we're hiding from ourselves as well as others. And so we often feel that we're not worthy or we don't belong to something that is uplifting or is a kind of true power, and a true power that comes from a higher truth. And so that's what I'd like to do with you today, is to work on dissolving away that crystallization of the good guys and the bad guys from our political perspectives, our religious perspectives, our emotional perspectives, all of these kind of energetics, and use this power as conscious beings, as agents of change, to prick that veil, to prick that terrible mask, and reach inside and find that point of goodness, that point that has not been destroyed but maybe is hidden or lost, and that we can begin to awaken that with our consciousness. And so that we find that suddenly people whom we said they'll never change their mind, they'll never do anything different, that actually if there's an awakening of that part of themselves, that can help them to choose something else. Because it is what we choose. And what influences what we choose has to do with, we choose what we think is going to help us to survive, what's going to help us to feel as if we are the good guys. So close your eyes. Breathe deeply through your nose. And exhale slowly through your mouth, slowing down your brain and opening your consciousness. Once again, breathe in through your nose. And exhale slowly. Reach up into the cosmos and pull down to you that beautiful being of pure light, down through the top of your head, down into your solar plexus, and laser that light out across the planet and feel it illuminating all of the places and people on our planet and back up into the cosmos. And again, breathe in and draw the light down through you and exhale it out across the planet and back up into the cosmos. And just hold for a minute and feel that sense of light having passed through you. Feel what it is to be the giver, to be part of the source, extending out that which changes reality. And take a deep breath and open your eyes. First of all, let's contemplate how we come to say, those guys are bad, or those guys, look what they did, or I'm afraid of them, or they're different than me. Where does that come from? You know where it comes from. It comes from our psychogenetic inheritance. You've heard me talk about before that a baby at about 6 months begins to be able to pick up the signals in its brain waves of its mother or father's perspective if somebody comes in, whether they like them or not. And that's why babies will often coo with some people and cry with others, because maybe the mother is saying, I don't trust you to pick up my baby, or stand back, you might give him something. Any of those thought forms or emotions that the mother or the father is carrying, the baby picks that up at about 6 months. Before 6 months, babies will coo at everyone. They can't tell the difference between a stranger and a family. After that, they begin to take on those cues, which later become laden with so many subtle and not so subtle imprints of this is why we don't like these people, or this group, or what they did, or all those things. Which, of course, may be so. I'm not saying there aren't people who live out the darkness, that live out the negativity, the badness. But I have learned that underneath that badness is something else. And that what creates that choice of traveling along that pathway has to do with what we're imprinted from our families, our religions, our schools, our cultures. And so here we are in the United States right now, different states attempting to take all kinds of things that would illuminate a way to see others as human, rather than you are in this box or this box, and not allow that to be taught in school. It's a throwback. It's a throwback to a time of survival, of fear, and I want to belong to the ones that are going to win. And it's a sorrowful state, but you and I might be able to change that. I know about the 100th monkey. We've talked about it, where if you're holding something in your consciousness, it will ripple out from you. Others will pick it up and it'll ripple out from them, and then pretty soon we get to that 100th monkey when there is enough change, enough people feeling that suddenly the impossible happens. And we're so thrilled. We thought that could never be, and suddenly it is. Well, you and I have the power and the focus to contribute to that change, and this is part of it. So first of all, let's just do that very high level exercise in consciousness of looking to see from whom have we inherited. It can be for you if you don't like a different race or a different culture or something that some group is doing. Just let your higher self show you from whom you inherited that perspective, and so that we can release that from our DNA, freeing us to be able to choose for ourselves, to look upon another as a human being with all of the things that have happened to them that have created who they are. And underneath that, we're looking for the good guys. And the good guys are there. So close your eyes. Now ask your higher self to take form so that you have that that rhythm, that perspective at this moment. Again, a being, a light, a tree, an animal, an equation. Take a deep breath and ask your higher self to take form. Ask your higher self to show you some place where your consciousness is caught in judgment, where you say, this is what is true, they're the bad guys, or they have done this, even if it's one person. So ask your higher self to show you whomever it is that you are holding in a position of negativity. And see who comes. It might surprise you who comes. My higher self is smiling with me and saying, there are so many of these, we could spend the next hours and days doing this exercise in consciousness. It's almost unlimited how we separate out from others and feel that they, quote, are the bad guys. So whomever has come into your mind, hold them in your mind's eye. And now ask your higher self to show you from whom in your family constellation, and our families include soul friends who might be our enemies at this point, but it might have been our families in other lifetimes, our teachers, our people from anywhere who've imprinted in us that those ones over there are the other guys. And just see what you get. From whom have you inherited a negative, limited perspective on the bad guys? Just take whoever comes in the strongest at this moment that your higher self shows you. Bring them into your mind's eye. And now ask your body to take you back to a memory or experience in this lifetime in which they imprinted that judgment in you. You might have heard them talking. It might have been something you felt from, again, before you could talk. It might have been something you learned in school, but just take a reference point of some memory, because there are many of them, but just one, in which that was imprinted in you. And in taking that up and seeing when and who, again, listen to the judgment, listen to the conclusion of the bad guys. They're the other ones because what they did, or who they are, or where they came from, color of their skin, whatever it is. Just follow that along so that you get a hologram in your mind's eye of that. And as you're seeing that, just allow your consciousness to open to what is your judgment. They are the others because why? Because they're different, because they bother you, because they do terrible things in the global arena, because. See what is the prevalent sense of them and their badness. Now ask your body where it holds that judgment, that conclusion. If we release the conclusions, then we are open to looking to see what else is there and how is it about us. So ask your body where it holds those conclusions about the others, anywhere in your body. And ask your body what color it needs to dissolve that judgment, even if it's true, even if they did do that thing or those things. We don't want to carry it around with us, because like ourselves, are their children as they say in some books, to blame for the sins of their parents? I don't think so. The children are the ones that can correct that. And so going to that place in your body where you're holding that conclusion, ask what color it needs to be released. It doesn't serve you. Knowing the badness really does not enrich our lives or allow us to be powerful enough to make changes for ourselves and with others. Now draw that color from the cosmos down through the top of your head and laser it out from you. Feel that it's going to that place, it's washing that place, and that you're lasering that light through your auric field so that not only in your physical body or your emotional body, but that color is going to dissolve it from your auric field, because remember that your auric field gives the messages to others of what you truly feel inside, no matter what your mouth is saying. So send it through your body, through that place, and laser it out through your auric field, and feel that color just dissolving all the points of reference in your auric field that are carrying that because of this, because of that. They are the others, the bad guys. And now, again, going back to whomever it was that imprinted that in you. It could be the several, it could be your school, your religion, your family, your culture. Just gather up the reference points there that imprinted that separation and ask them what color they need to be released of the karma. Move them out of the way, and that will begin to shrink and dissolve and lighten up those areas that have been caught in these conversations. So bringing them into their mind's eye, and what is the color they need to be released of the karma? Draw it from the cosmos down through the top of your head and laser it out to them. And feel how powerful it is to release that. Mm-hmm. And now, that's it. Took a while for some of you there. It took a while. There was some chatter that went on. But what about this? But what about that? But they really did. Yes, they really did. Now bring them into your mind's eye. And ask your higher self to show you that essential point within them. Maybe a centered point of the soul. A point in them that is not the bad guy, that holds the potential of finding the right path for them and for the good of the whole. The path that will open them to their love, to their caring, to their humanity. And just imagine where that is. It could be anywhere in their body that you might see it. You might even see it on their DNA. But allow your higher self to show you that point within them that is a point of goodness, because people really are good. It's an essential trait. It's an essential aspect of being humans, created from the very essence of our choice to be human. Might look like a little diamond or a little light spot, laser beam. Might be just the tiniest little speck. Focus on it now. And then reach up into the cosmos and again pull that pure white light. It's the fastest frequency. It holds all frequencies. down through the top of your head into your solar plexus, and laser that white light into that point of goodness in them. The place where all of us have had some moment of loving, some moment of caring, some moment of choosing. So laser that white light into that place in them. And imagine that the white light is growing it so that that energy of goodness is expanding and all of the darkness is falling away until that point of goodness then begins to spread throughout their entire body. Now, as you see that lightedness, as you see that goodness that comes with light and consciousness, imprint that in your consciousness. And feel as if by lasering the white light into them, you have also imprinted it in them so that it awakens, so that they can utilize it. And see what that looks like. Imprint that illumination, that sense that you've touched the goodness and that it's growing in them. Until you see them as an illuminated being. Command the trillions of cells of your body to imprint that. And take a deep breath into your body and to open your eyes. We have that choice. We have the choice to say, there's goodness in that person. What color do they need from me? Or sending that light, finding the point of goodness and sending the highest frequency into that point so that it gives them what they need to find it for themselves and to utilize it and to grow in that way. And when we do that, that is when suddenly we can see these miracles. When someone or some situation seemed that could only go from bad to worse, that it begins to lighten, it begins to quicken, it begins to lift up, and changes are made. I'm seeing that now everywhere. That people who once said espoused had to be this way are beginning to move in their consciousness and in their own sense of what is truth or what is good. And so I'm sending light to those people that they can amplify it. Not that they choose what I think is good, but what they find in themselves. And so lastly, let us extend out an energy across the planet that will help everyone to feel as if they can find the good guys. And they can hold that because it is, as we all know, you've heard me say it, whatever you tell a child that they are, that's what they will be. And so when we show the light of goodness, of humanity, of caring, the highest capacities, that's what will be awakened in everyone. So breathe deeply and bring into your mind's eye all of the billions of people on the planet and ask them what gift they need from you, what tool they need in order to be able to find the goodness in others. And in upholding that, discovering that the others will begin to make the choices that bring all of us together. It could be a symbol or an object or a color. See what they ask for from you. And whatever comes into your consciousness, reach up into the cosmos and pull that gift, the symbol or the object or the color, down into your solar plexus. And from there, laser it out to all of humanity so that you are seeding in humanity the willingness, the capacity to find the good, to find that point of reference that says we can know each other, see each other. And take a deep breath into your body and open your eyes. Fantastic. I hope that you will do this exercise again and again. As you listen to the news, as you go about your day, as you look at someone and you think they're angry, and so therefore you don't like them, you can remember, but if you were to move in and touch that goodness, you could see that the anger could dissipate, that the separation and the confusion could dissolve away. This is what it is to be agents of change, to uphold the highest in ourselves and everyone. And of course, we are certainly the good guys. My great love to you. Next time we chat, I'll be chatting to you from my beloved Mexico. Until then.